There it goes. Live on YouTube. Yeah, and it's actually taking the input. I have no idea if it's picking up sound. I think it is. Should be. Well, it's way past. It's 11:40 Northwest. After technical difficulties, we are getting started with getting some writing done today. I've got 4 chapters already done, and some notes that I did. Actually, I think that was last year. And now it's time to see about getting started on chapter 5. And I have no idea what I'm doing. Let's see. Kind of liking that one so far. Context. Japanese delight. Wish that it was mine. How much is that K in the window now? 6-inch fang so pretty. Makes my heart say wow. What I've been doing is copying sections of the outline and pasting them in the prompt. And that wasn't what I was trying for. I apparently forgot to copy it. Yeah, that was so bad. That's copied. Should I did it? Yeah, let's see. I do kind of want to set these things. That's all. And let's see what the AI gets us. Nope. First person. Maybe I should set that as a default. How much is kitty in the window? 6-inch fangs on your face. Cost is high, but love is higher. Kitty purrs all day long. Window shopping dreams come true. Furry friend with fangs for you. Love at first sight, I must say. Take the kitty home today. Well, that's getting kind of low. But I don't have anybody in chat, and I'm probably never going to. So. Let's see. Close that. No, that's right. Let's push the pulse trigger into that. Tentacles? These are not McCoy. Retry it. It is stuck on McCoy. I'm not sure how to fix it. There's probably a way. It's annoying. Well, let's see. Supplemental. POV is a song. Try.
Cataloging the ordinary. Probably in the ads right now. Nope. I got through the ads. Getting the AI overlord to cooperate sometimes is difficult. Ian Morris, were the only ones present in the Triumph Chamber, old habits from the Academy, never show excitement, uncertainty. Yeah, I guess that fits their culture. Their culture is a bit Klingon. Interpersonal conflict resolution I have is being kind of a Klingon methodology. Duels and stuff. Major rings on the screen provide classification. Massive spikes of power would suddenly appear, climbing off the musical scale, only to plummet to near zero moments later. The pattern repeated with maddening irregularity. No discernible cycle, no predictable interval. Sounds about right. Zeph expanded this display, tracing the anomaly's position relative to the system. It's holding steady at the outer Tholian sector. Where would this be? There's no Tholian sector. Not even appropriate. What's this do? Change the color. Okay. That's none. That didn't work. Did not take. Really? Oh, it's the background of the word. I thought it was coloring the word. Nope. Total bullet list, total ordered list. Nope. It's not the Tholian sector. It should be something else. I guess we'll fix that a minute after I've had time to think. Zeph expanded the display, tracing the anomaly. Let's see, how would you probably, well, let's see. This is in their home world. I guess Tholian's as good as anything. Almost rather convert it to a number. Another option would be to do constellations, like, call it the Capricorn sector. Let's see. Hold on, I'm gonna go get some dice. I'll wander away from the keyboard and do that. And moving dice. So let's see, what kind of, I guess I'll roll a d20. A larger zodiac would give them, except I rolled a 9. 9 symbols. Let's see if it'll take that. Okay. Let's see, creating an entry, lore, one. Gotta find it. Come on, where is it? Where is it? Oh, at the very top. Copy. And so, okay, so roll a d10. Which, of course, I don't have. Yeah. We'll do number 4. So it's in the Safera. Okay, and that's where AI comes in really handy. Or is that always? Yeah, that's always gonna happen. Okay. There we go. It's holding steady at the outer boundary of the Saphira sector, not moving, just pulsing. Could be a sensor malfunction. Mariston sound convinced by everyone's suggestion. 3 different arrays picking up the same reading? Yeah, that would be kind of unusual. Presumably, they would have enough distance to provide some parallax so you could pinpoint things. Zeph shook his head, the gesture causing his body to drift slightly in the low gravity. No. Space stations... It's not a... No, they have artificial gravity. How to fix this? Lore, others, object items. Add a new entry. Stop. Circular reference. Art. Actually, that kind of fixed it. Context. Battle station. It took so long that it decided I didn't mean it. Rephrase. Tweak and generate. Oh, this is interesting. Use different words, changed. I didn't realize this was here. I guess I should play with this more often. Tweak and generate. Generate. No. Okay, that wasn't what I thought it was. Rephrase. Undo. Undo. 2 words. Well, when in doubt, delete and restart.
No, it's freak. Nowhere to be.
Clear it. Shite. Got something. Contact. Commander? That's way too high. Control copy. Control V. Retry.
Nowhere to be. In the spree, set me free.
Don't give... No ranks.
is the saber-toothed cat in the window? The one with the 6-inch fangs, oh so wild.
R-A-C-T-E-R
Its
characters.
eyes like amber fire, fierce in the
Lowest.
glow. A relic of ancient times, untamed and beguiled.
Retry.
Meow, meow, roar. It sings
There
to
we go.
me.
That's better.
Fierce, my fantasy. Meow,
Curtain.
it's wild and free. Saber-toothed cat forever in my reverie. How much is the saber-toothed kitty? The one with the 6-inch
Let's see.
fangs.
Technician Maris hunched over his monitoring console, who's planted firmly on the reinforced deck plates over the fork killer. His four-legged lower body remaining perfectly still, while his upper torso leaned forward, hands dancing across the sensor interface. Soft ambient pings in the machinery provide a soothing counterpoint to his growing unease. Fluctuation pattern coordinates. Okay. 327 Mark 42. Star Trek's influence again, I imagine. Just spiked again, he announced. Tail lobes twitching with agitation. The readout bathed his face in a cool blue glow, highlighting concern etched across his figures. Across the cramped sensor room, senior technician, adjusted her position on the specially designed couch that accommodated her centaur-like body. She moved with the practiced efficiency of someone who spent decades in orbital service. Third anomalous reading this shift, plotted against the previous occurrences. Maris tapped a sequence into his console. The main view screen flickered to life, displaying a three-dimensional grid marked with pulsing points of light. Each represented an energy surge that defied explanation, wild fluctuations that jumped between extremes with no discernible pattern. By the Emperor. There is no Emperor. Bad. I mean, they've got an empire, but they don't have an emperor. They have a god king. By the god king's grace, Phyllis whispered, her formal invocation betraying genuine alarm. The amplitude is increasing exponentially. Depending on how far away it is, that could be bad. The metallic walls of the sensor room seem to close in around them as both technicians study the display. Designed for functionality rather than comfort, the chamber contained just enough space for their equipment and their bulky swan bodies. Ancient ventilation systems. No, they're not ancient. Efficient? E-F-F. E-I-C-T. That is terribly spelled. Effect. Yeah, that's when you use the Google search. Tools, because I am a terrible speller. How do you spell efficient? Okay, I got the EFF right. I see. I see ENT. Too many T's. Efficient ventilation. Well, it's close enough for it to figure it out. That's two spaces, I think. Nope, that was one space. Efficient ventilation systems hummed overhead, cycling the sulfur-rich atmosphere that reminded them of home. Could it be Mercury activity? Maris suggested, following protocol by considering unknown threats first. Phyllis shook her head. Wait, I thought Phyllis was male. Maris. Technician Maris is male. Wow, even I can't keep it straight. Velis shook her head, the motion precisely controlled as befitting her station. Negative. These readings originate beyond the heliopause, far outside any known Mercoy operational range. She rose from her couch and moved to the auxiliary scanning station, whose clicking against metal flooring. The rigid formality of her movements betrayed her military training, every gesture dictated by generations of imperial tradition. Whatever this is, it's not in our database. Her fingers manipulate controls with practiced precision. Energy signature doesn't match any known propulsion system or weapons discharge. Maris felt a cold sensation settle in his stomach. Could it be natural? Natural phenomena don't produce modulated patterns like this. Velis pointed to a section on the readout where the energy spikes formed almost regular intervals before dissolving into chaos again. This suggests intention. The implications hung in the air between them. Unknown technology, possibly a new player entering their carefully balanced conflict with McCoy. I'm not sure it's carefully balanced. These one are more about brute force than they're about finesse, unless they're forced to. We need to alert command, Maris said, already reaching for the secure communications terminal channel. Velis held up her hand, stopping him. Not yet. Imperial protocols are clear. We need confirmation before reporting anomalies of this nature. I think I want to delete it from here. Go / continue. Continue the story. Use this as a prompt. Ah! That is not... I forgot a step. Control copy. Uh, 600 words. Claude 3.7 sonnet. Context. Although I think it's I think it'll already get the context from the other. Codex entries. Battle stations. Characters. Zodiac. This one. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Push the button and see what happens. Actually, I want to switch this to chapter 5. Oh, it's interesting to watch the novel count word count go up. Maris's tail lobes curled inward, reflecting a reflexive gesture of uncertainty among the swan. Seer communications terminal loomed before him, its blinking status lights a reminder of the rigid hierarchy that governed their lives. Standard protocol dictates we report to Station Commander Thress, he said, reciting the procedure ingrained through years of service. His forehead shifted nervously on the deck plates, a subtle movement betraying his inner conflict. Vils moved closer, her upper body leaned forward while her inclined lower half remained perfectly balanced. She lowered her voice to a near whisper, despite the room being sealed and secure. And then what? Thress files it away in his reports to Sector Command, where he sits for 3 cycles before anyone with actual authority sees it. Well, he does have authority over the station, to be fair, but I suppose the buck stops with him for events on the station. Her words carried the weight of experience. By then, whatever this is could be upon us. Maris glanced at the door, then back at the readings. The anomalous energy signature pulsed on the screen, mocking their indecision. Another ping from the console announced yet another spike in the pattern. What are you suggesting? He asked, although he already knew the answer. Velis tilted her body at an unusual angle at her front hooves. I think I want to try expanding this. Though he already knew the answer, Velis was tilted her body at an unusual angle at her front hooves, stepping lightly to the side. Let's hit the expand button and see what happens. Oh, okay, so it completely rewrites it. Whoa. That was a lot of indecision. Maris's table lobes curved in with pronounced tension, a reflexive gesture of uncertainty deeply ingrained in the swan physiology. The secure communications terminals loomed before him like an accusatory sentinel, its rhythmic blinking status light serving as an incessant reminder of the ancient, rigid hierarchy that governed their lives since the first God King established the Imperial protocols. And, well, any protocol he would have set up would be, by definition, Imperial. Standard protocol dictates we report to Station Commander Thrust, he said, and reciting the procedure then burned into his consciousness through countless years of dutiful service. His four hooves shifted nervously on the deck plates, creating a subtle sympathy of metallic clicks that betrayed his inner turmoil. The polished floor reflected the emergency lighting, casting an ominous red glow across their faces. Velis moved closer with practiced grace, her upper body leaning forward in a gesture of conspiracy, where Iquane's lower half remained perfectly balanced, a posture that spoke of years of military discipline. She lowered her voice to a near whisper, despite the room being sealed and secured by the most advanced privacy protocols available in the Empire, which consists mostly of just taking a space station and put it in space away from everything, in my opinion. Hold on. Just a sec. Okay, back. Let's see. And then what? The rest files it away and reports to Sector Command, where it sits gathering dust for 3 cycles before anyone of actual authority even glances at it. Her words carry the weight of bitter experience, each symbol laden with the frustration of countless similar situations. By then, whatever this is could be deep within our territory, perhaps even approaching the sacred homeworld itself. Maris glanced anxiously at the door, its sealed status offering little comfort. Main display, the anomalous energy signature pulsing on the screen, almost hypnotic rhythm, seeming to mock their indecision with each flash. Another ping from the console announced yet another spike, this one stronger than the last. What are you suggesting? He asked, though the answer hung in the air between them like a charged particle. Velis tilted her body at an unusual angle. Her front hooves stepping slightly to the side, where a humanoid torso twisted toward the secure communications array. Posture was distinctly abnormal for an S1, almost predatory in its deliberate symmetry. It sent a shiver down Maris's spine. We have access to the emergency protocol, she said, her eyes darting between Maris and the control panel with calculated precision. Direct line to High Command, bypassing the entire chain. The protocol is established by the God King himself for moments of extreme crisis. Yeah, if that was misused, I imagine that would get them in some deep, deep yogurt. That channel is for emergency situations only. Why are you on this channel? That's grounds for severe disciplinary action, murmured Stammered. Oh, well, I caught the stammer. It's professional composure cracking. Possibly even treason against the Cog King's ordained hierarchy. The sacred traditions are clear about this. Bellis's expression hardened as she stepped closer to her hooves, now moving with such precise control they made no sound against the deck. I suppose that could take some work. The beeping of the console seemed to intensify, matching the quickening of Maris's pulse, their electronic chorus, a countdown to decision. Look at these readings. She gestured to the display with one hand while the other reached for the emergency override panel. Trying to sneak in a little thing, apparently. Trying to sneak in a stealth activation. Her fingers hovering over the controls like a musician preparing to play a forbidden melody. Melody. This isn't just another anomaly to file away in the archive. This is something new entering our system, possibly hostile, definitely powerful, and unlike anything our senses have ever recorded. It is unusual. But they are very paranoid. Her eyes narrowed, and it's actually warranted in this case. Her eyes narrowed, pupils contracting to thin slits in the artificial light, reflecting the emergency strobes that cast... What? That cast shifting shadows across her features. If we wait for the proper channels, we risk everything. The station, the fleet, perhaps even the homeworld itself. Is that what the God King would want of his faithful servants? 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 Slipping in the column dialect. The tension in the room crystallized around them like a physical force. Maris felt the weight of tradition pressing against the urgency of their discovery, threatening to crush him between them. His lower body remained rooted in place while his upper torso twisted uncomfortably, caught between duty and necessity, tradition and survival. The God King's hierarchy exists for a reason, he protested weakly, the words sounding hollow even to his own ears. Our ancestors established these protocols to maintain order. And we serve the God King by protecting his realm, Velis countered, her voice dropping even lower, taking on almost ritualistic quality. Sometimes protection requires initiative. Sometimes the highest loyalty demands we risk everything in the service to the greater good. Every time I hear greater good, I think of that running meme in Star Trek. She keyed a sequence into the panel with practiced efficiency, bypassing... Oh, wow. Pulled the trigger on that. Bypassing the first security protocol. The console made a warning tone, its mechanical voice requesting confirmation and reminding them the consequences of unauthorized access. Think, Maris. If these readings are indicating what I suspect, a new power... Entering a delicate... It's not that delicate. Basically, in my opinion, the Swan are bullying the Mercury, but every moment we delay could be catastrophic. Her fingers hovered over the final confirmation sequence, trembling slightly with the weight of the decision. High Command needs to know now, not after it filters through 3 layers of bureaucratic ritual and ceremony. She has a point. Maris stared at the energy pattern, watching as it pulsed with increasing frequency and intensity. The traditional chain of command had served the Swan Empire for generations, maintaining order and stability. I wanted them to agonize over this, and they have done that effectively. If we're wrong, he said, slowly measuring each word, we lose our positions, possibly face imprisonment in the deep mines of the homeworld. Yeah, that could be a problem. Velis's mouth twisted in something between a smile and a grimace, her expression a complex nature of determination and fear. And if we're right, but fail to act, what then? Could you live with that knowledge? The console beeped again, more insistently this time, insurgent tone cutting through their debate. Another spike appeared on the display, larger than all the previous ones. Its pattern suggested purpose and intelligence. Make your choice, technician, Velis said, her voice carrying the weight of destiny. Tradition or survival? What serves the God King's will? I'd rewritten this with the outline as, if I put the outline as part of the context, would that have changed things? Scenes, chapter 5, scene 1. Entries by tag, entries by category, snippets, scenes. Part of this is to experiment. So we try. I kind of liked it. It was pretty good. Let's see. Pretty much the same, at least in the first 3 paragraphs. Fluorine designed to accommodate considerable weight. Meh. One of the things, they don't have that much weight, especially when they can tailor the gravity. Very light on their feet, like a praying mantis would be. Hmm. Let's see. Harden. Expression harden. Static plates. She gestured at the display with one hand while the other reached for the emergency override panel. Fingers hovering over the biometric scanners. This isn't just another anomaly to follow in the archives. Something new entering our system, possibly hostile. Well, yeah. Well, technically, not many people encounter the McCoy. Keep to themselves. They don't float well in a terrestrial environment, especially one with sulfuric acid in it. Let's see. Where was that? When any McCoy Maris might have ever encountered. Any McCoy Maris might have. Ah! Definitely. If we wait for proper channels, you risk everything. The station, the fleet, perhaps the horn itself. Is that what you want to have on your conscience? Is that what you want on your conscience? Tension in the room crystallized around them like sulfur crystals that formed in their home with the upper atmosphere. Yes, sulfuric rain. Um, she keyed a sequence into the panel of practice efficiency, bypassing the practiced. She's done this more than once. Uh, in a panel of practiced efficiency, bypassing the first security protocol as if it were a training simulation. Console emitted a warning tone, its amber light bathing their faces as they requested final confirmation. Um. Hmm. Tradition or survival. Sometimes they're not the same thing. She's not wrong. Um. Actually, I kind of want to leave it there. I guess I'll move on to the next chapter and think about it. Plan. That is right? Yeah. Okay. Context. Tina? A swan. Context. Scenes. This is chapter 6. And let's see what it does. We might change that to Claude. Oof! Oofta! Oofta! Tina's heart raced as the transport ship docked with metallic clink against the asteroid base's exterior port. And I'll lose my voice. I can feel it already. Ugh. How long have I been at this? Whoa. Well, that went by fast. Team's heart rate. Let's see. Some countless simulations of first real summon finally arrived. She pressed her face against the viewport. Eager for her first glimpse of what she'd always imagined would begin of a glorious military career. Sapphire. Actually, I want that to be supply. Um, should it be a a supply base? Yeah, yeah. Vermilion is the name. Is the name I want to use for it. Which is a word that I don't know how to spell. Google to the rescue. How do you spell vermilion? Ermilion. Announced the transport pilot over the intercom. All military personnel prepare for disembarkation. Gathered a regulation double checking that her newly issued offer's insignia was properly aligned on her uniform collar. The gleaming metal caught the artificial light, a tangible symbol of all she worked for. The airlock cycled up with a hiss of equalizing pressure. Tina stood tall, shoulders back, ready to make a mark on the S1 Nibby. The first blast of recycled air carried the unmistakable scent of industrial lubricants, metal, and the faint pang of sulfur additives that made the atmosphere breathable for a swan physiology. Busy loading dock stretched before her, directly Cardin. Actually, let's try and see if the AI internalizes the Vermilion code. Nope. S-U-L-Y. E-E-R. What was it? I'm terrible at spelling. M-I-L-I-O-N. Retry. Ah, dang. I like that. Outpost fate. I guess I need a codex entry. Okay. This is what? Location, actually. P-P-O-Y V-E-R-M-I-L-I-O-N. S-E-R-C-E-R-T. Thank you for spell checkers. Secret off the book space. U-R-I-E-D. Yeah. Asteroid. Belt. and there's an I in there somewhere. I got in the wrong spot. Off the books. Asteroid base. It's an asteroid. It's made out of an asteroid. Deep in the asteroid belt. Made from a hollowed out asteroid asteroid in order to better blend in with SOUR surroundings. I know the sorrowings, apparently. Surroundings. Ah, well, I'm back to Google. How do you spell surroundings? You're not picking that up, are you? No. Let's see. SURROUNDINGS. Too many R's. This is, yeah. This is area 51 for this one. And that is not a secular reference. Forgot something. STATION. Supply Station Vermilion. And too many spaces. Add that to the context. If I can find it. Locations. All right. Retry. The transport ship shuddered as it docked at the asteroid base. The metal-on-metal contact ring through the hull. Tina steadied herself against a viewport, her four whose plane of family on the deck, and as excitement coursed through her veins. This was it, her first real assignment after years of rigorous training. Not just any sighting, but a posting to a classified military supply base nestled within the asteroid belt, a critical link in the supply chain that would support the inevitable conflict. Okay, now that actually is a better first paragraph. Through the viewport, she caught her first glimpse of the sprawling facility carved into the asteroid's surface. It's not. No. Con STRUCTION. construction of the station, STI-TION, was by heating an est or ID into a molten mass then spinning it, spinning it to create a large internal volume that could be fitted with QUARTER quarters and hangers, CEARC research labs, and life support. FACICLITY, something like that. Faculties, facilities. Yes. Molten interval internal. I got that one close enough. Okay, retry. I kind of like them going into passengers are DIRECT directed to a hangar slash CRO CARG cargo bay for PROCESSING. Passing gangers. Yeah, drop the G. Are directed to a hangar cargo bay for processing. Docking bay of asteroid bay. No, it's not Kethos 7. It's even in that. Why is she reinforced? No, it's not Kethos 7. Dab nabbit. SUPPY. OY. supply base. VERMILION, Vermilion. Straightened her newly pressed uniform, conscious of making a good impression the first day of actual duty. This is it. After years of training, simulations, and theoretical studies, she has finally arrived at her first posting. The moment should have felt monumental. The docking bay bustled with activity. Cargo loaders managed heavy containers with practiced precision. Maintenance crews performed routine checks on shuttles and equipment. Officers barked orders that were immediately obeyed as exactly as she imagined the military efficiency. But looks, for one thing, it was utterly mundane. Yeah, that would be totally true. Tina watched as a team of technicians calibrated a loading mechanism. Their movements were methodical and rehearsed. They didn't look like warriors preparing for glorious battle. They looked like workers completing a shift. Cadet Tina, gruff voice pulled her from her thoughts. She turned to face a leathered officer whose insignia identified him as Lieutenant Devac. His upper torso was rigidly formal, but his forelegs shifted with impatience. Sir, yes, sir. She saluted. Crisp welcome to VERMILION. Your quarters are in Section D, Level 3. Orientation begins at 600 tomorrow. Until then, familiar. No. For processing. SECURITY security checks. See, you're not going to send somebody into a secret base like that and not vet them first, at least in my opinion. Let's discard that because it didn't seem to be actually paying attention. Hearts. She only has one heart. Yeah, okay. I had to discard what I'd written and run the prompt again. That's what the problem was. Deep throat interstellar travel to the gentle process of docking procedures. First assignment, supply station Vermilion. She'd spent years preparing for this moment, imagining heroic missions aboard sleek warships, not supply duty at some asteroid out. Still, it was her first step into a real military experience. Through the viewpoint, the asteroid loomed against the star-speckled void. Gleaming metal exterior, impressive architecture marked it as a military installation. Just another unremarkable rock around thousands. The perfect camouflage. Initiating final docking sequence, announced the pilot, his voice betraying the routine nature of this delivery. All personnel prepare for arrival procedures. Tina straightened her uniform, feeling the crisp fabric against her skin. Her four hooves shifted nervously on the deck plates as she gathered her regulation duffel. The other junior officers around her, 3 males and 2 females, mirrored her actions with varying degrees of enthusiasm. Well, yes and no. This is a prestigious assignment. Not exactly a prestigious assignment we dreamed of about at the academy. If you're a military cadet and you got sent to Area 51, I know. Well, ask the AI. If you were cadet. Ugh. I mean, spelling is my only flippin' weakness. If you were a cadet. Area 51. How would you feel? Ask the AI. Let's save that as a snippet. I gotta name it. CAD, words, ET. Okay, back to writing. Context. Snippets. Cadet. Section. No. Delete. Try again. Tina stood at the port of the transport vessel, watching the supply station Vermilion gradually materialize against the black top of the. Okay, I kind of like that one too. This version of it. Whatever first to be just another dark mass among countless others. This puts in the context of being deep inside an asteroid, a thick asteroid field. Our surroundings. Okay. Gotta ban the bot. And that probably bans the other guy. Welcome, Flip, if you're still here. Yes, this is why I have a writing career. I'm starting a writing career because I can't spell. And the music has gone solo because I didn't hit it on repeat. Shuffle is off. Where's the repeat button? Repeat. I forget how to, be person doing things. Looks like I gotta go into more detail on their anatomy. She only has one heart. Although, does the centaur technically have two hearts? Does it have a heart for a horse in the human torso? Tina stood at the viewport of the transport vessel, watching a supply station Vermilion gradually materialize against the backdrop of the asteroid belt. That had first appeared at just another dark mass among countless hours, now revealed itself as a meticulously engineered marvel, a hollowed-out asteroid transformed into a military installation. Her heart's quickened with anticipation. This was it, her first real assignment after years of rigorous training. The station's exterior remained deliberately and remarkable, camouflage stride she recognized from her tactical studies, but knowing what lay within made her skin tingle at the sight. First-timers always get that look, remarked an older officer beside her, like they're seeing the face of the God King himself. Tina straightened her posture, embarrassed at having her enthusiasm so transparently read. It's an impressive feat of engineering, sir. It's a glorified warehouse with guns. I think that's pretty good. The officer replied with a dismissive flick of his tail. You'll see. The transport ship maneuvered carefully through a concealed docking port. The artificial gravity shifting subtly as they entered the station's gravitational field. Tina felt the familiar weight settle back into her forelegs after days of the transport's slightly lighter gravity settings. The ducking clamps engaged with reverberating thud. I lost where I was. Oh, there we are. The ducking clamps engaged with a reverberating thud that traveled through the hull. Around her, other passengers, mostly supply officers and technician specialists, gathered their belongings with the practiced efficiency of those who had made this journey many times before. All personnel prepare for disembarkation. Proceed to Cargo Bay 3 for processing a security clearance, announced a monotone voice over the intercom. Tina collected her regulation duffel bag, which contained everything she was permitted to bring on her 6-month tour. She followed the flow of bodies down the corridor, whose clicking against the metal floor in an unintentional rhythm that echoed her racing thoughts. The cargo bay door slid open to reveal a carnivorous space. Apparently wants to eat her. Filled with orderly lines of new arrivals. The ceiling stretched high above, dotted with industrial line to cast harsh shadows across the bay. Technicians in maintenance uniforms moved with practiced efficiency, checking manifests and directing traffic. The air carried the distinct scent of reset. I kind of like this. The air created the distinct scent of recycled oxygen, machine oil, and the faint sulfurous trace that all Swan installations maintained to remind personnel of home. Tina joined one of the lines, her initial excitement beginning to waver as she observed the mundane reality of the operation. Control droid? Oh, cargo droids. It's a control droid! Cargo droids transported crates labeled with various... dang it. I looked at something and lost my place. Cargo droids transport crates labeled with various security classifications. Officers barked routine orders. The walls were bare metal, functional rather than impressive. This wasn't the gleaming frontier outpost of her imagination. It was ordinary, functional, a supply station, just as its designation indicated. Identification and assignment orders, demanded a bored-looking security officer when Tina reached the front line. She presented her credentials to Chris Smith, drilled into her at the academy. Cadet Tina reporting for her first tour of duty. The officer barely glanced at her before scanning the documents. Logistics Support Division, Section 12B, handed her a station map and a security badge. Next! Tina moved aside, clutching her new credentials as another officer directed her toward a secondary processing area. Logistics Support. Not tactical operations or even security detail, just logistics support. Her tail drooped slightly before she caught herself, corrected her posture. Around here, the station continued its efficient operation and expanded. Okay, let us expand this. So we need to select this section. Nope. Undo. Guess we can click and drag. When in doubt, section. Expand. 1,162 words, and that didn't do anything weird. Nope. Okay. Tina stood at the viewpoint of the transport vessel, watching a supply station vermilion gradually materialized against the backdrop of the asteroid belt. Where it first appeared, just another dark mountain. Okay. When I expand, it does seem to keep the first bit of it, and then expands out the middle and the end, which is interesting to know. Hollowed out asteroid transformed into a military installation. The jagged exterior rock maintained its natural appearance with only an occasional glint of metal betraying the presence of sensor arrays and defensive turrets cleverly disguised among the craggy surface. Our hearts quickened with anticipation, the dual rhythm pulsing beneath her uniform. This was our first real assignment after years of rigorous training, the culmination of countless sleepless nights, studying tactical manuals, endless physical conditioning exercises, and simulation after simulation of crisis scenarios.
The station's exterior remained deliberately unremarkable, a camouflage strategy she recognized from her tactical studies, but knowing what lay within made her skin tingle with excitement, fine scales along her forearms, rising slightly in response to her emotional state. First-timers always get that look, remarked the older officer beside her, his weathered face bearing the subtle markings of decades of service, like they're seeing the face of the God King himself stepping down from the Temple of Eternal Wisdom. Tina straightened her posture, embarrassed at having her enthusiasm so transparently read. She adjusted her weight evenly across her four hooves, careful to maintain the dignified bearing expected of an officer candidate. It's an impressive feat of engineering, sir. The gravitational manipulation alone required to maintain stability while hauling on an asteroid this size would require calculations of extraordinary precision. It's a glorified warehouse with guns, the officer replied with a dismissive flick of his tail, the twin lobes moving in perfect synchronization. You'll see. The wonder wears off after your third consecutive shift inhibiting our oxygen recycler components. The transport ship maneuvered carefully through the concealed docking port thrusters, firing control bursts that sent subtle vibrations through the deck plating. The artificial gravity shifted subtly as they entered the station's gravitational field, creating a momentary sensation of vertigo that Tina had been trained to ignore. She felt the familiar weight settle back into her forelegs after days of the transport's slightly lighter gravity settings, her muscles automatically adjusting to compensate. The docking clamps engaged with a reverberating thud that traveled through the hull like a heartbeat of someone. I need to hear that word pronounced in order to get it correct. I mean, like, hegemony took me forever. I wanted to pronounce it differently because of the way it was written. Anyways. Enormous heartbeat of some enormous mechanical beast. Around her, other passengers, mostly supply officers and technical specialists, gathered their belongings with the practiced efficiency of those who made this journey many times before. Their movements were economical, their expressions neutral, as though arriving at one of the Empire's most secretive installations was no more remarkable than reporting to a routine desk assignment. All personnel prepare for disembarkation. Proceed to Cargo Bay 3 for processing and security clearance, announced a monotone voice over the intercom, the words echoing slightly in the confined space of the observation deck. Tina collected her regulation duffel bag, which contained everything she was permitted to bring on her 6-month tour. 3 uniforms, personal hygiene items, a single data pad loaded with approved reading material, and a small devotional icon of the God King that her mother insisted she take for protection. Yeah, I can see that. Cult of the God King. She followed the flow of bodies down the corridor of hooves clicking against the metal flooring, an unintentional rhythm that echoed her racing thoughts. Each step brought her closer to the beginning of her real career, the moment when all her training would finally be put into meaningful use. A cargo bay door slid open to reveal a cavernous space. Cavernous space filled with orderly lines of new arrivals. The ceiling stretched high above, dotted with industrial lighting that cast harsh shadows across the bay, creating pools of brightness and darkness that seemed to pulse with the movements of personnel below. Technicians in maintenance uniforms moved with practiced efficiency, checking manifests and directing traffic, their tails occasionally twitching with impatience when somebody disrupted the flow. The air carried the distinct scent of recycled oxygen, machine oil, and the faint sulfurous trace that all Swan installations maintain to remind personnel of home, a chemical comfort that triggered deep ancestral memories of the hot, dense atmosphere of their native world. Tina joined one of the lines, her initial excitement beginning to waver as she observed the mundane reality of the operation. Cargo holds transported crates labeled with various security classifications, their servo motors whirling as they navigated between columns of arriving personnel. Officers barked routine orders, their voices blending into the ambient noise of the station. The walls were bare metal, functional rather than impressive, with occasional warning signs and navigation markers, the only deterioration on the otherwise utilitarian surfaces. only decoration. Oh. This wasn't the gleaming frontier outpost of her imagination. Officers engaged in high-level strategic discussions about the potential threats to her empire, to the empire. It was ordinary, functional, a supply station, just as its designation indicated, despite the secrecy surrounding its existence and location. Identification and assignment orders, demanded a bored-looking security officer when Tina reached for the front of the line, his uniform immaculate, but his eyes dull with the repetition of his duties. She presented her credentials with the crispness drilled into her at the academy, back straight, tail still, voice clear and confident. Cadet Tina, reporting for first tour of duty, sir. I specialize in advanced tactical analysis with a secondary focus on interstellar logistics management. Okay, you go to logistics. The officer barely glanced at her before scanning her documents, his eyes flicking across the holographic display that appeared above his terminal. Logistics Support Division, Section 12B. He handed her a station map with a security badge, the latter glowing faintly as it synchronized with her biometric signature. Next! Tina moved aside, clutching her new credentials, as another officer directed her toward a secondary processing area. Logistics support, not tactical operations, not even security detail, just logistics support. The tail drooped slightly before she caught herself and corrected her posture, mindful that senior officers might be observing how new arrivals conducted themselves. She had graduated at the top of her class. Surely this assignment was merely a stepping stone, a chance to prove herself before critical responsibilities could be entrusted to her. Around here, the station continued its efficient operation. The steady clanking of floating equipment, the hum of ventilation systems, the practiced movements of personnel who had long since lost any wonder at their posting. A pair of security officers passed by discussing duty rotations with casual indifference for whom the extraordinary had become routine. Supply Station Vermilion might be one of the Empire's most classified installations, buried deep in an asteroid belt known only to a select few. But beneath the secrecy, it was just another cog in the vast military machine, and she, it seemed, was merely another replacement part, expected to fill her function without question or complaint as befitted a loyal servant of the God King and the Empire. I like that. I will apply that. Observing your fellow technicians. Control copy. Slash. Continue writing. 600 words. Context. Because this is sectioned off, I think I need to do this whole thing again. Tina. Supply Station Vermilion. Snippets. Cadet. Context is scene 6.
She finds actually conducts. Cut. Of course I spelled it wrong.
I've saved up all my dreams and wishes true, just to be where you, in the window view.
Wire cover. No, I didn't spell it right. No E, right. And pull the trigger.
Or that soft yet so profound, tiny paws that stand their ground. How much for a
Tina folded directions to section 12B, hers clicking rhythmically against the polished floor. Each step felt heavier than the last. Logistics support. The world echoed in her mind like a cruel joke. She watched as fellow Aswan technicians glide through the corridors. Practice grace, their centaur-like bodies shifting weight between their foreheads in fluid motion that spoke of years spent in these confined spaces. A group of officers passed by, their perfect posture, tails swaying in disciplined unison as they discussed what sounded like patrol schedules. Actual military operations, her heart sank. Counting supply crates while others defend the empire, she muttered under her breath, adjusting her duffel bag. The vast emptiness of space, visible through occasional viewports, only amplified her sense of isolation. Out there lay adventure, heroism, the chance to prove herself in combat against the recoil. Instead, she'd be cataloging oxygen filters and calculating food rations. At the entrance to Section 12B, Tina paused, watching technicians move with sufficient precision. One female officer with intricate scale patterns decorating her forearms and directed a team organizing cargo containers with quick, authoritative gestures of her hands while her tail material maintained perfect balance. Another technician manipulated a holographic inventory system, his foreheads planted firmly as he sorted through manifests with practice ease. It looked so mundane. "You must be the new cadet," a voice said behind her. Tina turned to face an older Aswan male, his uniform bearing the insignia of a senior officer. His scales had faded with age, but his eyes remained sharp. "Yes, sir. Cadet Tina, reporting for duty." She straightened, determined not to let her disappointment show. "Commander Nelvik, follow me." He turned without waiting for a response. They passed through the main logistics area and approached what appeared to be a standard supply closet. Nelvik placed his palm against an unmarked section of wall. A hidden scanner hound in the back wall slid aside, revealing a security checkpoint. "Biometric verification required," announced an automated system. "Sir?" Tina questioned, confusion evident in her voice. "Logistics Support Division is merely our public designation," Nelvik
explained as proceeded through multiple security levels, a convenient cover for those without proper clearance. We emerged into a vast chamber that bore no resemblance to a storage facility. The place buzzed with activity as scientists and engineers clustered around complex equipment. Massive energy conduits lined the wall, pulsing with power. At the center stood what appeared to be a partially disassembled drive system, unlike anything Tina had seen in her textbooks. Welcome to the... I thought they were using the Zoth. Arg. Yeah, that's McCoy. Well, yeah, okay, yeah, that'll work. Welcome to the GARM Drive Research Facility, Novak said, satisfaction evident in his tone. We're reverse engineering capture technology that could revolutionize our fleet's capabilities. And McCoy developed an alternative approach to inertialess drive travel. No singularity core, but functionally equivalent results. Tina's eyes widened. She recognized components similar to her diagrams and arranging configurations that defied conventional understanding. Scientists moved between workstations with powerful strides, their tails swaying in excitement rather than the boredom she expected. But my assignment was deliberately misleading. Everyone assigned here receives the same designation security protocol. Novik's tail flicked with amusement. Your tactical analysis background, trade, and technical aptitude made you an ideal candidate. We need minds that can understand both the military application and the theoretical principles. Tina struggled with this revelation, not counting supply crates, but working on cutting-edge technology would determine the outcome of the coming conflict. Our first task will be analyzing the quantum entanglement manifolds. Novak continued. The team believes that they're the key to projecting space-time distortions at distance from the ship. As Novak introduced her to the research team, Tina felt her earlier. Okay, this is kind of what I was hoping, like wanting, I suppose, is the term. I gotta do this section. Expand. Claude. 3.7. Perhaps glory came in form she hadn't considered.
Wait. Looking for you to go. No, it's freak. Nowhere to be.
Fighter anthroponic return overloaded. Oh. Section. Expand, please. There we go.
Oh, only 842 words instead of 1,000. Let's see. Revert the first
Article a little bit, I think. Metallic echoes at Tina's head against the platform resonated with the corridors. She made her way to section 12B. Each deliberate step felt like a weight dragging at her spirits, and the sound mocking her expectations. Logistics support. The designation tasted bitter in her thoughts, a far cry from the prestigious tactical posting she dreamed of throughout her academic career. She observed her fellow S1 technicians navigating the confined spaces with expertise born of countless cycles of quadrupedal forms shifting with an economy of movement spoke along familiarity with the station's cramped corridors. A cluster of officers strode past, their bearing immaculate ceremonial tail ornaments. Catching the light as they moved in perfect synchronization, engrossed in discussions about patrol rotations and security patrols. Real military operations, she thought, twin hearts constricting with envy. Relegated to inventory management while others safeguard the Empire's border, she whispered to herself, adjusting the weight of her regulation duffel bag against her flakes. Through scattered viewpoints, the infinite darkness of space reached beyond the asteroid field, each distant star representing an adventure now seemingly denied to her. Out there, the McCoy threat loomed, offering opportunities for valor and distinction in combat. Instead, her future appeared to consist of managing supply chains and calculating resource consumption rates. Approaching Section 12B's entrance, Tina halted, studying the choreographed precision of the technical staff within. Female officer forms adorned with elaborate ceremonial scale patterns denoting years of service, coordinating a team, arranging cargo containers with decisive hand signals. Her tail maintaining flawless equilibrium despite the complex maneuvers. Nearby, a technician interfaced with a sophisticated holographic inventory system. His four hooves planted with practiced stability as his fingers danced through countless manifest and requisition forms. The scene before her epitized administrative tedium. This must be our new cadet, a gravelly voice interrupted her thoughts. Tina pivoted to discover an elder Aswan male, his uniform displaying senior officer insignia. Though his scales had dulled with the passage of time, his gaze remained penetrating intensely that commanded immediate respect. Yes, sir. Cadet Tina reporting as ordered. She drew herself up, determined to maintain professional composure despite her inner turmoil. Commander Nelvek, come with me. He set off without further ceremony. They traversed the main logistics facility, ultimately. She actually should be dropping her duffel off in her quarters first, or a locker or something. Ultimately approaching what appeared to be a remarkable storage compartment. Where could I put that in? How could I do that? I guess I could just redo the whole thing. Discard. And delete.
How much is the saber-toothed cat in the window of one with the 6-inch fangs? Oh, so
Tina's STORE stores.
A relic of ancient times, untamed and beguiled. Meow, meow.
Dio.
It sings to me.
Duffel.
Wild and fierce my fantasy.
ASSIGN assigned quarters.
Saber-toothed cat forever in my reverie. How much
Reports.
is the saber-toothed kitty, the one with the 6-inch fangs? Is it wild? Is it pretty? Can it hang? Can it hang? I see it in the window glowing with eyes that pierce the night.
Okay, try that.
Hope it's friendly, not a fright. How much is a kitty? In the window, saber-tooth and fierce. 6-inch fangs grow, look into its eyes. Mystery divine, Japanese delight. Wish that it was mine. How much is that kitty in the window now? 6-inch fangs so pretty, makes my heart say wow. Sharp teeth like no other, eyes that pierce my soul. Every time I wonder if it's mine to hold. Moonlight dances on its hair, ancient secrets in its gaze. Will it stay or will it stir?
Tina observed her fellow technicians as they moved through the bay with practiced efficiency. Their centaur bodies flowed with graceful precision. Tails perfectly balanced as they shifted weight between their four hooves. Hands manipulating equipment with delicate motions that betrayed years of experience. Every movement seemed choreographed, a ballet of logical components that left her both impressed and deeply disappointed. This wasn't what she had trained for, not what she had dreamed for. She watched a cargo vessel dock through a nearby viewport. In her mind's eye, she transformed it into a warship, returning victorious from battle, imagining herself at the command deck, ordering issues to enemy vessels scattered before her tactical brilliance. The fantasy dissolved as the supervisor called out inventory numbers, replacing her imagined glory with the mundane reality of supply manifests and storage protocols. Logistics Support Division. The words felt like an insult etched into her security badge. Quarters are this way, cadet, instructed an officer, interrupting her thoughts. You want to stow your belongings before reporting for duty. Tina followed silently, her hooves striking the metal floor with more force than necessary. Each step echoed her frustration. Outside the viewport, stars hung distant and cold, mocking her with their unreachability. She had excelled in tactical simulations, outperformed her classmates in every combat experience, memorized the specifications of every warship in the fleet, which at this stage isn't all that many. All the count boxes and track shipments. Her assigned quarters were predictably Spartan, a sleeping couch designed for centaur physiology, storage compartments, a small workstation. She tossed Defo into the couch with uncharacteristic carelessness, then immediately regretted the lapse in discipline. The icon of the God King had tumbled out, a serene face regarding her with what she imagined was disappointment. "Forgive me," she murmured, carefully returning the icon to its proper place. "I serve where I am needed." The words felt hollow at recitation rather than a belief. She straightened her uniform, composed her features, and made her way to Section 12B to report for duty. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to want to... The words felt hollow, a recitation rather than belief. She straightened her uniform, composed her features, and made her way to Section 12B to report for duty. I think I'm going to want to separate this out and expand this bit, this next bit, because that's where the excitement, and it contrasts nicely with the her attitude of disappointment. The corridor leading to her assigned section differed subtly from the rest of the station. The lighting was brighter, the air circulation more efficient. Security checkpoint blocked her path, far more sophisticated than those she'd already passed. The guard scrutinized her credentials with unusual thoroughness. "First day, cadet?" he asked, handing her back to the badge. "Yes, sir." Interesting. His expression revealed nothing as he pressed his hand against the scanner. "You're cleared." The door slid open, revealing not the warehouse she expected. I kind of like the supply closet, but that would be kind of silly in this kind of a base. You're supposed to already be vetted before you get to the station, so... Technicians in specialized uniforms moved between complex equipment arrays. Holographic displays showed intricate mathematical formulas rotating in three-dimensional space. In the center of the room stood what appeared to be a partial drive system suspended in a containment field. Components floating in near perfect alignment without physical connection. That would actually... Oh, neat! So that would be a real-world exploded diagram. An olderest one approached, his movements to planes, moved confidence of authority. "Cadet Tina, I'm Chief Engineer Morvin. Welcome to Logistics Support Division." "Sir? I don't understand. This isn't a warehouse?" He chuckled, tail lobes twitching with amusement. "The name is deliberate misdirection. Another layer of security. We research advanced drive field mechanics here, specifically reverse engineering captured GARM drive technology." Tina stare at suspended components, recognition dawning. "That's an exotic matter reactor. Very good. Your file indicated exceptional technical aptitude. Your technical background will be particularly valuable. I would consider the military applications." He gestured towards the lab. "We're pushing the boundaries of what's possible with inertialess travel. The Empire's future depends on your work here." Her heart's accelerated from renewed excitement. Okay, so I want to go up and expand the bit. Well, let's see. We'll apply. This is, composed her features. And we're going to select this. And we want to expand it. Got 3.7. So how far does this go to expanding? 731 words. Bringing this chapter so far to... The corridor leading to her assigned section differed subtly for the rest of the station. The lighting was brighter, almost clinical in its intensity, casting fewer shadows among the polished metal walls. The air circulation hummed more efficiently, creating barely perceptible current that carried a faint scent of ozone, specialized cleaning agents. A security checkpoint blocked her path, far more sophisticated than those she'd already passed. Triple-layered scanners, quantum encryption locks, and 2 armed guards with sidearms that weren't standard issue. The guard, in a swan with battle-worn features and calculating eyes, scrutinized her credentials with unusual thoroughness, running them through multiple verification systems. "First day, cadet?" he asked, finally handing back her badge after what felt like an eternity of examination. "Yes, sir," Tina replied, maintaining perfect posture despite her growing curiosity. "Interesting." His expression revealed nothing, his professional mask impenetrable as he pressed his four-fingered hand against a biometric scanner that pulsed with blue light beneath the palm. "You're cleared. Remember, everything beyond this point is classified level 4. The reinforced doors slid open with a pneumatic hiss, revealing not the warehouse filled with supply crates she had expected, but a vast laboratory space stretching before her like a technological cathedral. Technicians in specialized uniforms marked with symbols she didn't recognize from standard military designation moved with purpose between complex equipment rays that hummed with power. Holographic displays hung suspended from invisible anchors, showing intricate mathematical formulas rotating in 3 dimensions. I'm not really sure why you'd need them rotating in 3-dimensional space, but equations that push beyond what she'd studied even in advanced propulsion theory. In the center of the room, what appeared to be a partial drive system suspended in a shimmering containment field, its components floating in perfect alignment without physical connection, bathed in an ethereal blue-green light that pulsed in hypnotic rhythm. An older swan approached, his silver-flecked hide marking decades of service, his movements displaying the smooth confidence of authority and experience. His uniform bore insignia of both scientific achievement and military distinction, unusual combination that spoke of a career spanning multiple disciplines. "Cadet Tina, I'm Chief Engineer Morvan, Section Head for Theoretical Applications." His voice carried the precise dictation of someone accustomed to being listened to. "Welcome to Logistics Support Division, or what we actually call Project Ascendant when the doors are closed." "Sir, I don't understand. This isn't..." Tina's professional composure momentarily faltered as she struggled to reconcile what she was seeing with her assignment paperwork. "A warehouse?" he chuckled, his tail lobes twitching with genuine amusement, the gesture making him seem suddenly more approachable. "The name is a deliberate misdirection, another layer of security beyond the physical measures you've already encountered. We research advanced drive field mechanics here, at the bleeding edge of what's theoretically possible. Specifically, we're reverse engineering captured GARM drive technology that was recovered during the Cygnus conflict." Let's change that to incident. Blocked by advertising. "How do you spell incident?" Nope. Incorrect. "How do you spell incident?" INCIDNT. Tina stared at the suspended components, recognition dawning on her as her academic training had aligned with the reality before her. The distinctive configurations, specialized containment protocols had all matched theoretical models she studies. "That's an exotic matter reactor, the primary component for generating negative mass energy density fields." "Very good, Cadet. Your file indicated exceptional technical aptitude and theoretical understanding beyond your years." Morvan's eyes narrowed slightly in approval. "Your tactical background will be particularly valuable as we consider military applications and defense countermeasures. The Stability Through Adaptation faction has been pushing for accelerated development, and the God King himself has taken personal interest in our progress reports." He gestured toward the lab with a sweeping motion of his arm encompassing the dozens of research stations and testing apparatuses. "We're pushing the boundaries of what's possible with inertialess travel, attempting to synthesize the swan engineering principles with captured GARM technology. The Empire's future strategic position depends on our work here, perhaps even our survival as a civilization. Our hearts accelerated with renewed excitement, pumping faster as the implications became clear. This wasn't just logistics. This was cutting-edge research with direct tactical implications for fleet deployment, and force protection. The assignment suddenly transformed from punishment into privilege. She straightened to attention, her posture perfect, her resolve renewed. I'm ready to serve, sir, whatever capacity you need. I expect you are, cadet. Morin moved toward a workstation where holographic schematics of dimensional shunting arrays flowed in complex patterns. Let's see what you can do with the theoretical models. We've hit a stability threshold that's been particularly challenging.
Oh, that soft yet so profound, tiny paws that stand their ground. How much for a saber-toothed without compare.
I kind of like the way this is turning. It's different than what I had outlined, but I think I like it better.
I've saved up all my dreams and wishes true. Just
Apply that.
In the window view.
I feel like I need to do a scene transition. Actions. I guess if I go to plan. I guess I gotta do the modifications and planning. Well, anyways, I am going to call it quits for today. I will be back on Tuesday. Thanks for joining me and see you then. Bye.